Well, hello again, and welcome to another episode of Getting to Know United in Christ, Getting to Know UIC. I am just beyond excited today to be able to welcome one of our very special guests. Today I have with us Pastor Catrina of UIC legend and history and memory. Pastor Catrina, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. This is
Thank you for
very
inviting
cool.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is an absolute joy. Pastor Catrina, for those who for whom it's been a little while, or for those who never got to know you in your time in ministry at United in Christ, remind us, when was it that you served at United in Christ?
Yeah. So, United in Christ was my first call. I moved from the Twin Cities area to central Pennsylvania back in May of 2005 is when I began. And I served there for a little over 5 years. So I left at the end of July in 2010.
All right, so 2005 to 2010. So it's been about 10 years now
And
since.
since then,
Wow, that's incredible. So in 10 years then,
mhm.
what have you been up to? Catch us up to speed. Tell us where you're at now. What's occupying your day? I mean, aside from the COVID-19 days, where there are many other things occupying our times, but in your normal span of days,
My
what are you up
normal
to?
days. Yeah, I a lot has happened. So I left because I discerned a call to return to Luther Seminary to pursue a PhD in congregational mission and leadership, and that took me a long time to complete. So that's been the bulk of the past decade.
I guess as PhDs are wont to do, I
As
suppose.
PhDs are what to do. There's some bumps along the road. My school benefited a financial crisis in the
Ah,
middle of it, which didn't help. But so I finished that finally in January of 2019.
awesome.
So just about a year ago.
Very
And
good. Well, congratulations.
thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. And along the way, I did some other interesting things. I worked, excuse me, I'm just a cold. My doctor confirmed.
I don't think I think we're good over the digital
Yeah,
waves.
we're good for the internet. So no 6 feet of
Yeah.
contact. But um, I worked for this research project called the Learning Pastoral Imagination Project, which is kind of cool. It's we are following 50 pastors who graduated 10 years ago from
Okay.
seminary, and we've been following them through their careers. And it's a study of how do pastors learn how to become pastors from the student side, from the pastor side of things. Because usually when they study these things, it's all the seminary side of things and the teacher side of things.
Sure.
But so it's a longitudinal study where we keep dropping in on these people's lives every once in a while. And when you're so close to your own learning, you don't necessarily like see your own growth necessarily. But when we drop in and ask some open-ended questions about your life and your learning, then we're able to see from coming in at different points, like, oh, they're really growing in their pastoral abilities and skills and the way they anyway. So I work with that project still. We're starting our 10-year round of interviews. COVID-19 is kind of throwing some monkey wrenches
Yeah, I would
into
assume so.
group interviews. But oh shoot, I just got a Facebook note. I should maybe.
I think it was mine. Sorry, that's my bad.
Okay, that's okay. I'm gonna close that window.
Yep,
Oh
same.
no,
I just muted everything.
yeah. So there we go. Uh, so I'm still working with that, and I'm at the love of my life, and I got married in 2015. I'm very
Awesome.
happy. Yep. So her name is Cecily, and she works for Lutheran Social Service in Minnesota. She's a grant writer, so helping to keep funded all the important programs right now that are keeping people fed and
Absolutely.
people and helping with a lot of different areas, elder care and support too.
Sure.
So that's good. And I started a job. I started working for Luther about a year ago too. I did not expect that to happen when I was wrapping up a year ago. I really was feeling called to go back into parish ministry and to take everything I felt I'd learned through my PhD and learn how to embody it in my own ministry practices
Yeah.
and congregations. Think maybe a little differently about being church in this time, and God had different plans, as God often does. I kept trying to find a call, and that was not going anywhere fast. And in 10 months, two different seminaries approached me about working in contextual learning.
Oh, very cool.
And I said no the first time and kept trying to find a call. And then the second time, I'm like, okay, I don't know what's up, but clearly you have a plan. So I'm rolling with your idea, I
Very
guess.
cool.
So that second one was Luther. So I'm working for my alma mater with this, we call it a holy experiment. It's an accelerated pathway. So like when you and I went through seminary, it took us
Yeah.
4 years.
Yeah,
It was 3 years of classwork and 1 year of internship. I'm presuming you maybe had that same.
I did. Yep.
And in this, it's an experimental. We got a really generous grant from a Lutheran millionaire, basically Dean Buntrock, the former manager of CEO of Waste Management.
Wow.
supporting Lutheran education, and so he is supporting us in trying to figure out a way to complete that whole MDiv process in 2 years instead of 4.
Wow.
So people take their classes at the same time that they're on internship part-time. So and I'm supporting that. I'm in the midst of a heavy season right now trying to find placements for all of our incoming students that we're starting. So
I think that would make my brain melt. I don't know. That sounds so intense.
It is. It's intense. We're really clear. It's not for everybody. It's not going to be like the future of seminary where that's the only way, but for the right people, it's really actually been kind of cool in the ways it's made a way for people that there wasn't a way, like some, especially mid-career people, second career people that can't already have families to support and can't give up 4 years of their lives or relocate to a seminary physically necessarily. And there's a lot of distance learning options now, but still financially to take that hit for 4 years is hard. So both it's free tuition. It's also about $30,000 a year of support financially. So because you can't have a job outside. This is your job, but it's at least to try to make that feasible and not you have to take out a bunch of loans.
Totally.
So it's good support. And Kyle Swanger, I'm going to be calling you about this program. So heads up.
Kyle, you got called out, my dude. You better watch out, man. That's awesome. That's very cool. Well, and that's very cool and exciting to hear because we've been talking a lot within the past couple of years, even here at the congregation at United in Christ, about this kind of need right now for an age of faithful experimentation, right? To just step out and see what's going to work and give it a shot, right? So to hear that you are living into that even on the larger church scale, that's awesome. That's very, very cool. And of course, a tremendous amount of congratulations are in order for the PhD, for getting married, for all of these positions. I mean, that's a lot to cram into 10 years.
It is. It is. Yeah.
That's very, very cool.
Especially, it's like first PhD, start a new job. We bought a house and we got a cat. So it was like, there's a lot of transition in our life.
Just the fur babies come quick. That's right. Awesome. Well, it's also, I think, very cool to hear and to connect the dots a little bit. To hear you working with pastors coming out of seminary and the projects where you're following up with pastors as they come out of seminary, because if I recall correctly, was United in Christ your first call out of seminary?
It was my first call out of seminary.
Yeah. And so at that time, what was it that drew you to United? What about their paperwork, about the interview process, told you that this was the right place that God had in mind for you when you met with the congregation?
That's a great question. I was thinking about that. And it's funny. So when I was assigned to Upper Susquehanna, then it was Bishop Maine at the time. And Pastor Dan May was the assistant to the bishop.
Yes.
His family was a member of United Christ. So he was kind of lobbying hard for United. I should let that be my warning. No. But no, I was given actually 2 sets of paperwork. One was United in Christ, and one was a different congregation in the Synod. And things at United in Christ were in a really rough spot at that time. Pastor Pete had left under distress, and the congregation was fighting with each other. And but I looked at that and I thought, well, the job here is to help them heal.
Yeah.
And to help them learn how to fight fair with each other and to help, and I felt like that was something that I had maybe some skills and some gifts in that where I could maybe be of service and of use. And the other congregation, and when I read their paperwork, it felt like there was tension there under the surface though. So it wasn't, so it was like probably a fight was coming in that congregation and the job would be how to draw it out safely.
Yes.
And healthfully. And I wasn't sure I was as equipped for that. So I thought the fight already is on the surface here. I can work with that. So that was part of it. And honestly, Pastor Dan's lobbying was also he was cool. And so
good.
That was also good. And to know there would be other clergy perspective on the congregation to kind of help with the work I was called to do. So, and looking back on it too, I've thought sometimes it was a little bit of a tricky situation to put a very first call pastor in.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's a delicate needle to thread.
Delicate needle and thread, but in the same breath, I fully affirm and believe that it was my first call. It was where we were called to be together as a people. I was called to be United in Christ pastor, and they were called to be my parishioners, and we did a lot of good work.
And talking, 10 to 15 years later now, let me affirm that call, because I can honestly say that make no mistake about it, that tension and that conflict is certainly part of the known history of folks who lived through that time, lived through the merger, lived through some other family-wrenching decisions around that era. But I think, folks, we are now at a point where we're saying, we've definitely come out for the better for it. And I think that's in large part due to the gifts that you expressed during that time to be that mediator, to be that healer for this community. So please know I am grateful for your time and your energy spent in that way during that era of United in Christ. Yeah.
Thank you. I am grateful. It's been a joy for me to see how that continues to unfold, the work that we did, like in the cool things that they do with Pastor Shade, and then now with you. It's like amazing to watch. It's beautiful.
I'm very glad, and I'm so glad you stay connected with us through the social media pages to be able to be a part of that. That's very cool. But I gotta hope, at least, for 5 years there, I gotta hope it wasn't all just trying to mediate conflict and manage all that. So what for you were your highlights of ministry during that time, or what were the places that brought you excitement and joy within the congregation during your time there?
Yeah, I really loved, by the end, like the last couple of years, even, I think we were like every other month, the youth and the young adults of the congregation were leading us in worship. Yeah. Like it was really them. Like I came up with a template, like these are the parts of the service we need. What do you want to do? Do you want to do like the traditional way we do it, or do you want to write your own thing?
Yeah.
I mean, here you get these prayer petitions, and what are you going to write? Like they were really the ones that were picking the hymns and the songs that we did, and just like it was really beautiful. And that always gave me a lot of joy to help empower them and to be led by them.
That's very cool. Yeah. And I got to say, a lot of folks still remember that with a tremendous amount of fondness, right? And to see the ways in which that has shaped and formed over the years to not just youth services and young adult services, but now kid-led services. And it's that really laid a foundation for folks to be willing to, as you said earlier, step out in a holy experiment even within worship. And that's been very cool, and I hope you can see that continues to flourish. That is definitely part of the legacy you leave behind.
I do. That was great joy. I think too the ways that we started stepping out more into our community.
Yeah.
Like the heart. Lynn can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure we didn't start doing the soup sales at Milton Harvest Festival.
Okay.
It's been a while.
It's been so long that I don't know that what folks can even remember a time about it.
Yeah, that was like people coming in like, what can we do?
Yeah.
And one of the years we were in the parade too. That was great.
That's
fun.
very cool.
Yeah,
and that legacy, again, still continues. I mean, every dime of the soup sale, none of it goes to us, right? And I don't think people outside the congregation remember that or know that when they come, because a lot of churches would, keep that for themselves.
But right. They do to bless the community, and
bingo. And that has remained the conviction of the folks and the leadership in that role to make sure that we are passing on what we have come to find here, this good news of great joy for all people, right?
And not the secret. And Oaks was like a little dream in Christy Koch's brain when I was leaving, and to see that like continue on its path to like that she and Pastor Shade were able to like figure out how to make that a reality. Also, like it's not that was my era, but just to see things that were like starting to like right at the end, starting to kind of get traction, like that they found their footing.
Oh, absolutely. And again, it's tough for me to even think about United in Christ without Oaks, right? That has become just such a staple in our life together. That's very, very cool. That's so cool and very exciting. So then, talking about as you reached the end of the time when you knew that it was time to take a new call, then what were your hopes and dreams for the congregation? What is it that you hope that you could leave with them as you prepared for your next steps as God called you to ventures unknown?
Yeah, I think there was a couple things. One, it was really important to me to leave and part well, because the last two pastors before me had not done that and had created a lot of turmoil and conflict and pain, and so it was really important that we ended well and on good terms with each other and blessing each other for whatever was next on our respective journeys. And I feel like we did that well, and that let energy continue forward in a positive way and momentum.
Absolutely.
And part of what it was kind of a two-sided discernment for me towards the end. It was both trying to like I discerned that the PhD was next instead of a call, but also at the time, like what was leading me to like look for what the next thing was because I was starting to feel like we had done it was clear that we had that healing had happened, and that stage of that was the call that I was there for, and that was done, and so it was time for a new call in some way, whether and also like for their sake, because we got the thing going with the Harvest Festival, but also like I was trying to I don't know if some of the folks remember, we brought Pastor Carl John Stone in from the Synod to do the mapping our mission field exercise. Asset mapping. I was trying to like introduce some tools and some ways to get us to think how we could broaden that blessing to the community even more. And I was feeling like I was struggling and like it wasn't getting the footing that I was hoping it would see. And so then I started thinking, well, maybe I don't have the right gifts. I have the right gifts for this other period, but I don't have the right gifts for this next period.
Sure.
So we need somebody new who will have the gifts to take them to these next levels. So that was my hope and prayer that I was getting out of the way so that the next person could come and could take them to the next stage of their journey. And I feel like that's what's happened.
Yeah, so, sure. And again, as somebody who is one of those people who came next, I appreciate that understanding and that grace-filled exit, right? Because that's not always a gift that's left for next pastors. And I think it was something you left for Pastor Shade, and I know it's something that she has left for me. It's something that you both have left for me at this point. And that's just been such a gift to be able to meet this congregation in a healthy place because of so much of the groundwork y'all laid out ahead of time. So thank you. All right, so then are there parting thoughts? Any other last memories, highlights, any other episodes that stick out for you? Anything else that you would want to share with United in Christ? This is your chance, right? I'm giving you the platform. The congregation is yours.
I'm so grateful for all the time that we had together in those 5+ years, and for everything that the ways that we blessed each other. And it's just a deep, deep joy to watch you continue to be a blessing to one another and to your surrounding community, and to see all the marvelous things that you're doing. I'm 100% Team United in Christ, and so grateful that our journeys are still intersecting. So.
Absolutely. Again, I think I speak on behalf of the whole congregation when I say we are grateful for you. There is, like I said, a deep fondness every time Pastor Catrina comes to mind. And you do come to mind. Rest assured, you come up in conversations regularly enough that we are grateful for you and your time with them. And I'm grateful that you were willing to come back and be a part of this today. This was very, very cool and very exciting on both I think, congregational level and a very deep personal level for me as well. So thank you. Thank you very much. And we'll see all y'all next time. We'll keep some guests rolling in through, and be sure to tune in for our next episodes of Get to Know UIC as we try to navigate how to be community and continue connecting with one another in this odd era for all of us. So thank you for being a part of it. Again, Pastor Catrina, thank you so much for being in today, and we'll see you later. God's peace and God's blessings. Bye for now.